Welcome back. The coronavirus is spreading. Now we know that 213 people are dead, nearly 10,000 confirmed cases across the world, including 2 in the UK. The first person-to-person transmission in the United States, meanwhile, has been reported in Illinois. The World Health Organization is declaring this a global emergency now. The U.S. State Department is advising Americans not to travel to China. Fox Business reports the House Energy and Commerce Committee is planning an open hearing with the CDC and the National Institute of Health officials for next week. Joining me right now, a member of that committee, Texas Congressman, medical doctor Michael Burgess. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
What are you expecting to come out of this committee? What answers do you want at this point?
Well, you saw how this story evolved and how the situation escalated over this last week. I am grateful the State Department has put their highest level of travel restriction, travel warning on this, on travel to China. I think the World Health Organization did the right thing by declaring this virus to be an emergency. And I think that could have probably happened a few days earlier. And there will be more information that has come to the front by next week. Literally, we should have some type of briefing on this, if not once a week, twice a week. It is a serious situation. Look, I've been here through SARS, bird flu 1, bird flu 2, swine flu, Zika, and Ebola. But this one seems different, and this one, to me, is more concerning.
All I keep hearing is the most important thing is to wash your hands. Is there anything else you can give us in terms of how to protect ourselves from this coronavirus other than just the obvious things like washing your hands?
And don't travel to China. Don't put yourself where the virus is. Now, unfortunately, the poor gentleman who had suffered the person-to-person transmission in his own home, yeah, if that were the case, and this is important for healthcare workers, if you're taking care of someone, obviously you do need to take significant precautions. Washing your hands is critically important. Proper type of face mask might be important if you had a household contact. Right now, that's rare in the United States, not rare obviously in China. Don't go there. Don't put yourself in that environment because the risk goes up substantially.
Congressman, this is Jack Brewer.
Yes, Jack.
I just literally canceled my flight. How you doing? Just canceled my flight to China. I was scheduled to go there February 9th. But I think one thing that a lot of Americans are wondering right now is how can we be confident that the Chinese government is actually telling us the real numbers and the extent of this virus right now? Because you see 213 deaths. That seems low given the impact and to see how it's spreading globally.
Well, and do bear in mind, this has only been a story for 2 months, and look at, again, how quickly it's escalated. I think you're exactly right to have canceled your flight. That is extremely important. Your worry about the lack of information. Look, I was grateful that China shut down that city and canceled travel in and out of the city, Wuhan, where this seemed to be the epicenter of this epidemic. But the other fact is that information now is blocked from coming out of that city. So you're exactly correct. We really don't know the extent to how has the virus impacted the population of that city and what is life like on the street in that city, and we don't know because there is no information coming out. And you have a Chinese government that is normally pretty reticent to disclose information just on a good day, and this is going to be a worry. That's why the World Health Organization declaring the worldwide emergency is, I think, important. And China does need it. China needs help. It needs certainly help from the World Health Organization. Needs help from American expertise. I know our scientists at CDC and NIH have been there offering their help. I don't know whether that's been accepted yet. I hope it is. That's very, very necessary, in my opinion.
Let me switch gears, ask you about impeachment, Congressman. The trial may end soon, we understand. Tennessee Senator Lamar Alexander said last night he will not vote for witnesses. So that makes 50 GOP senators expected to vote against the measure. The last hope for Dems was a tie and a possible decision coming from the Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts. What are you expecting in that situation?
Well, I think this may be This may be one of the, if not the last day, one of the last days that we'll be exposed to this, and that we can reach the point where we'll say our long national nightmare is over. This needs to end. It never should have started. It should have never left the House. It should not, the case was thin from start to finish. It's been a terrible national trauma to put the country through. And look at, we kind of ignored the story on the coronavirus for several weeks because we were spellbound with impeachment. And what was Speaker Pelosi going to do with the papers that she now had? We kind of almost missed the fact that, the scheduling on fentanyl was about to expire, so fentanyl analogs would once again be legal on our streets. Not a good idea, and we just at the last minute were able to do that last week. The trade agreement between Mexico and Canada, how important that was, and it completely got obscured and eclipsed by all of the investigation and impeachment. Our farmers are in better shape now because of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement, but it could have happened months ago.
Wow.
They could have had access to those markets for their fall harvest last year. As a farmer, you only get a chance to sell your crop once, and we damaged them. And I would say impeachment was one of the factors that led to that. So this will be great news for the country when this stops.
Yeah, well said. That was a long list of close calls or things that could have been done much better. When you say it's over, I don't know about that, though, because they've promised to come up with something else if, in fact, the impeachment trial is over today. Congressman, it's good to see you, sir. Thanks very much.
Thank you.